is an ambassador webinar workshop for the Ambassador Insight series. This is where we talk about skill building, feedback, and success stories of different programs done by ambassadors. We are going to be talking about the summer reading at the library program and future programming, current programming, any programming really. It doesn't have to be summer reading from you all talking about it. And then we'll talk a little bit about the future, including Citizen Science Month 2026, and technically summer reading as well, because we already know what the topic's going to be. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and move us forward. I just learned about all the awesome books that our folks are reading on the call right now. One of note is The Lost Art of Reading Nature's Signs. Thank you, Joel, for that one, by Tristan Gooley. All right, so if you recall from your training a million years ago, you should remember that there were three pillars to an ambassador, and that was that we were looking for you all to be champions. So she's seeing the value of being a citizen science advocate and being a citizen scientist or community scientist. We also added in there, oh, and I just lost it. Who remembers the second one? Random quiz question. Champion. Oh, I remember it. Anyone remember? Gonna guess it. Darren Ash, you should know this. All right, that's okay. It's connector, in case you were like trying to remember. Okay, yeah. Connector. So that means that you're the ones who are able to find the resources. So I actually set aside a moment within my slides so we can go and find the resources actively so that you all feel comfortable and confident finding those. And then the last one is facilitator. So we expect from our training and expect from having these conversations and you being involved that you are willing and able to go and talk to people about citizen science. It can be passive, meaning you don't have to plan an event around it. You can just sit somewhere and talk to people as they walk by, or you can do a full event. You can also partner with organizations. It does not need to be a very heavy lift. But we're talking about today how there have been examples of success from ambassadors and also the library network, as many of the people who are ambassadors also are in the library network, and how we can make that happen for all of you. So if you recall from a couple of workshops ago, we went over the elements of community-based programming that we named the essential elements. We're going to keep bringing this up just to remind you that it exists, and it's my example for how to find resources. Because it is a really strong resource. You can use this as kind of like a guide for your brainstorming about project or about events and about programs. So if you have an idea, you can throw it into the lens of the essential elements of a program and see what would you do to create a welcoming environment? What would you do? Why are you doing this? What's the purpose that you want to communicate? How are you making it local and personal to your community? How are you going to make it fun? Yada, yada, all the things in there. So this is not just a simple image, though. It's also a document that has a lot of different examples and tips and ideas for each of these essential elements. So I'm going to show you where to find those. And that is on my computer. All right, so essential elements of community-based programming. First thing I'm going to do is go to scistarter.org/ambassadors. Ambassadors. And I'm going to drop this in the chat for you so you can follow me there. All right. Give me a thumbs up in your camera if you've, or use the emoji if you're with me. And if you're not able to be with me, just give me a thumbs up if you're like watching. Awesome. I got some emojis. I actually can't see everyone, so redo your thumbs up if you were showing me visually. Thank you. Awesome. Oh, so many thumbs up. You have the reactions turned on. Do I? Let's see. I have a reaction. That was not that exciting though. Okay. All right. Okay, so cool. Now that we're here, you have a bunch of things here. We have the about, the training, the apply, the events directory. There's also something that's sneakily named Resource Hub in lowercase in the corner. We're gonna hit that button. There's no reason that it's smaller other than it's specifically for you all. So we're keeping it in the fam, apparently. All right, so if you hop over here, it'll just be scistarter.org/ambassadors-resources. This is a good one to bookmark. When you get here, you can always find your ambassador handbook right here. So if I click view, for example, I'm going to open in a new tab just in case. And that'll open up the handbook, which has been edited and updated recently. So feel free to go back to that. And then below that, we also have a champion handbook. You all should be able to see this. It's the same thing as the ambassador handbook. It's just a little bit less. You all have more specific requirements, like how to use your profile on SciStarter. So you don't really need to pay attention to that so much. If you're curious, feel free to open it. But it's the same thing, just a little bit less. Underneath that, you should see a register an event or program and the activity reflection form, submit after hosting a program. These two buttons are super important. We are technically redesigning the SciStarter website, so if you have thoughts on how this should be formatted in the future, feel free to send me an email too, because I can already see how I want to change this for the new design. But it won't be harder to find, it'll be easier to find, just to note. But for now, this is how it looks. If you want to register an event, make sure you're clicking that. You can also just use the normal version of doing things as well. All right. Underneath that, these are your windows to get to various resources. So in the case of the essential elements, this is something that's helping you plan or facilitate an event. And so when I look down on these resources, I'm looking for that. I want to plan. So I'm looking for the right words. We're learning, sure, I guess. This resource could go into many of them. But for now, it's listed under the plan one. So these are resources to help you plan. It says start planning. I'm going to go ahead and open that. And it will open into a Google folder. If you do not have a Google account, you should still be able to access it. The exception being if certain libraries have Google not enabled on computers, feel free to reach out to me if that is the case. I have not yet had that happen, so we haven't made a different version of how to access these yet, but we can if that starts happening. All right, and then it's right there actually. Essential elements of designing and facilitating citizen science programs. Ta-da! How confusing was that? How do we feel? Thumbs up, thumbs to the side, thumbs down. How simple was that? So you can absolutely say thumbs down, by the way, too. I'm trying to improve everything, so telling me that things are a problem is absolutely okay. And if you have a specific reason, feel free to tell me that too. Chat or email later. All right, cool. I feel like we're warmed up now, our brains. Maybe. At least we didn't have to do math. I'm not going to force you guys to do math randomly. Okay, cool. Let's move on then. Was there any questions about materials or the essential elements document? Sweet. Okay. All right. In that case, so a summer reading program. Who's heard of the collaborative summer reading program? Has anyone? Yay, Mary. Yay, Mel. Yay, Susie. Awesome. Okay, great. So a couple of us, and then the others not so much, and that's okay. The summer reading program is essentially it's a nonprofit. So this is an organization that has come together to support literacy, summer reading program, literacy, education, and science through summer reading events. So it's all about making things very exciting for libraries. It's essentially an organization that just complements and supplements everything going on at libraries during the summer. It gives them a theme to work with. It gives them exciting activities and really nice graphics even that help support interesting things over the summer. And you'll notice it's called the summer reading program, which is not exactly a misnomer, but it does make you think it's one thing when really it's a pretty wide array. When I first heard about it, I was very surprised that we were doing a co-hosted webinar with them. I was very confused. I'm like, why? It's reading. I guess you read to do citizen science projects, but how is this exactly connected? And it's really about a lot of things. We're trying to just educate. So literacy, absolutely, but it's all of education. It's science and just getting discovery as a motivation within communities. And so it's a really lovely program, and they're wonderful people, and they create amazing things, including these awesome designs. So this past year, Color Our World was the topic. So in May of 2025 was like the starting point of when folks started using ad libraries. And then we already have a topic for 2026 as well. So 2026 has the theme of Unearth a Story, and they just released these sneak peek images, which are really cute. This lovely dinosaur poking his head through a book that also kind of looks like a window. It's very cute. And
Hey,
they're
Emma, did you
yeah.
mean to be screen sharing? We can't see your graphics.
Uh-oh. Can you not?
Or,
Wait, you should be able to see them.
oh,
No,
maybe
I
I'm
see the
on a.
graphics.
Okay,
Oh, you
cool.
know
I'm
what?
probably on
If you're
the.
on Zoom,
Ah,
there's
there we go.
certain
I got it.
tabs. Did you figure it
Cool.
out?
Yep, thanks.
I was
I
like,
like the way
that's
where you
super
just
awkward. How did no
describe a
one tell me?
dinosaur.
Oh, the little dinosaur. Yeah, it's really cute, so I'm glad you're not missing it. And I just got a message. Thanks, Mel. I didn't realize it was beyond our local library until I was in Wisconsin this summer and saw their local library had the same graphics and stuff. Yeah, it's national. It's so many libraries participate. It's a pretty popular thing. And it's great because it really unifies under themes that we can really help support too. Because Color Our World, we were able to build a webinar, a co-hosted webinar with them where we were looking at the various parts of the world and how they are colorful. So we looked at space science. That was one option, and we looked at space science being or spaces and science with NASA being about using colors to deter or not colors, but the telescopes use colors to determine what's going on and use some, I don't remember the term for it. Darren, give me some help here. The telescopes do like the colors that we can't see, not the visible light spectrum.
Well, you have the electromagnetic spectrum.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can use various filters um, to see things that you normally can't see in the visible spectrum.
Great. So color our world could mean the invisible colors to us and what exists in the universe. And then we drop down to the sky. So we're looking at like globe observer clouds, where we're looking at what is in our skies, what's weather like. So we looked at CoCoRaHS as well, the blue sky, the white clouds, etc., the darker grays of storm clouds. And then we went down to land, another globe example, globe land cover, and others where we're looking at biodiversity on planet Earth. And so there were a lot of options for this. And if you have some thoughts towards what we should do for Unearth the Story, this is the first, like, prior to this event, this is the first time I'm really starting to think about it. So as we're starting to plan our next co-hosted webinar with them, feel free to let us know if there's particular things you want to see. If it's unearthing dinosaurs, I hate to tell you, but that's pretty rare for citizen science. But we can try anyway. All right, so any questions about what CSLP is? Collaborative Summer Reading Program is the whole title.
Emma,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say something. Last year I was a librarian, and that's how I found out about it. But your library system has to purchase it. Not everybody does. And then you get a code, and it's like maybe 300 pages, and it has activities for all age groups. But it's not like an automatic thing. I don't know if it goes by the county or the state. And it's released in the spring, which I didn't know because there's like so many things you can plan for. But yeah, but that's how I found out about you guys. But then, I kind of left the library. So
Yeah, well, so I think there are various ways in which you can get involved. Like we're able to access things for free on there too. So I think there's variations. Like if you want the whole kit or whatever, that's up to the library to decide if they want to spend money on that. If you want to read more about it too, I have the link and it's not letting me copy it. So I guess I'll type it for you. cslpreads.org. Oops. And I'll drop this in the chat for you.
in fact, like when was it? In the fall or the winter, the libraries can start ordering resources for that, like T-shirts and giveaways and things. I mean, they really plan ahead.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
big time. We already scheduled our webinar with them, even though we have no content for it yet. We've already scheduled it, which I'll tell you when it is at the end of this. Sorry, Darren, were you going to say something?
Yeah, are there alternative summer reading programs then? Things that might be put on by the state, or even just, I don't know, just something your own library just does. It just picks a theme and
Yeah, I mean, you could. I also don't think I think there are parts of this that are free. I think you're like sometimes it's like the entire library district might be buying into it too to get more out of it, but I don't think all of it is paid materials. Exactly. But I could be wrong about that. We should add that onto our content for February's webinar.
but it's across all the states though.
Yes,
So
it is.
because that surprised me. I had no idea it was that big,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, City of Phoenix did their own summer reading program, like separate from the CSLP, I assume. Robin, thank you for that. So they did it for their own free version. Yes, okay. All caps, love it. Awesome. Okay, so if you want to investigate more, we'll have all the information by the time we get to February at least, but good to investigate. I'm clearly not an expert, but I do love helping plan with them different ideas in which they can participate. Awesome. Okay, so anything else before we move forward? Done okay. Okay. Okay, so Before I go the next slide, just a heads up. So I'm going to give you one example of what was done with the summer reading program Color Our World this last year. It is very much a one example. This is from one of the ambassadors, Branson. She did a whole program based on the Color Our World theme. And so this is just an example that was given for us to use, which is excellent. And I really love it because it's got so much going on. Number one, it's all about color, color our world. So she ended up developing a program that was a both a nature walk and also bingo. So things that the community was relatively familiar with, and things that were really light lift on people to be a part of. So this one was a go outdoors and actually be a part of the biodiversity tracking. So they used Seek, and they used iNaturalist as well. You'll notice it says take the next step in the corner here. So Branson made it clear that it's like if you participate, it means you're going outside and exploring. If you want to take it to the next level, you take it to the citizen science. So what that meant is it created levels and scaffolds of how prepared people were able to, or how prepared people needed to participate. They didn't need to know everything, but they could absolutely explore more than just exploring outside. And then the nature bingo was with them. And so Storytime Room just had an ongoing bingo the entire time, which was very fun. And they made this really lovely image with all these native organisms from the area they were in. And so people could come in and just do a passive programming experience. So Branson mixed a whole lot of things. She did a passive program, an active program. She was the expert there, so she could come talk to people. We've seen a couple of examples like this by ambassador folks where it's nature walks and I've seen a lot of bingo cards or like scavenger hunts come through that are really fun. So and they're fun even for adults, so it doesn't even have a limit to the age. And that is especially popular when it comes to like the City Nature Challenge with iNaturalist at the end of April too, which if that's an unfamiliar term, it's just the largest set of BioBlitzes in the world, which is at the end of April. So this is my only example. Are there things about this that you all could see yourself doing, or have you done something similar? I'd love to know what methods have been effective for you, if any, or methods you're interested in doing. It doesn't have to be something you've done before. I'm not expecting all of you to have done many events. Have you attended one? Feel free to unmute, or you can write in the chat while I take a large sip of tea. Ooh. Come in. Should I take this as no one has done anything or wanted to do anything? I don't want to do anything. Okay.
Emma,
Yeah.
hey, it's it's Robin.
Hey,
So
Robin.
I guess my suggestion would be when the theme, in this case, it was Color Your World for the summer reading program, comes in. That's a great kind of springboard for ideas. And as the collaborative, they haven't decided on it. Well, they usually by now have their theme ready. Do
Yeah.
they have what is the theme for 2026? Do you know?
Like
Yeah, it's unearth, what did I
your
say?
story or something. Yeah.
Unearth a story. Sorry. Yeah, Robin, it might have cut out when I said that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I had really bad internet connection, so I had to come home. So yeah, I mean, it would be cool to brainstorm around projects that kind of have a earth or earthly theme to them. So that's one of the things I I would think would be a great way to get going. And or bring in speakers that could help jumpstart citizen science projects related to that theme.
Definitely. I mean, do you have any thoughts? I mean, we can literally do that. We can start thinking about what it will look like next year because we have the theme, we have the ability. Does anything come to mind for Earth or Unearth
Well,
story?
yeah, so I love that. Oh crap, what is the name of it? The trash pickup, and you keep track, marine
Marine debris
debris.
tracker? Hmm.
Yeah, so let's take care of our earth. Let's go out and do marine tracking and maybe talk about it. Maybe get somebody from your municipality or your county, depending on where you live, to talk about you know, things related to trash, or somebody like where I live impacts on our waterways. I know I live, you know, by the Puget Sound, so it's important we don't let trash go into our waterways. We salmon fishing is huge here, the health of salmon. You know, maybe somebody from one of the tribes come and talk about why it's important to keep the waters clean. So, you know, that's just kind of something that comes to mind.
I love that idea. I just had I went to a conference this last week that was for sustainability and education, and environmental education specifically. And their keynote speaker was someone who had um, uh, tribal connections or tribal ancestry to like three different tribal communities in the Southwest and Mexico, and talked all about how like working with environmental education and talking through participatory um, work across ages too, across generations. I think a lot of this can be really conducive to multi-generational conversations and talking
Yeah,
about the
and usual, oh, sorry. And usually, and you know, you give a great example that Southwest is a different region, you know, Midwest, wherever. But then those tribes usually have stories they can connect with, you know, Mother Earth and things like that. So there you go. There's another way you can connect all of this to citizen science.
definitely, and how convenient to be at Citizen Science Month having Earth Day before this starting. So it's kind of a good
Right.
preface for it.
And
Good
if you go to
point.
SciStarter, you know, you go to the project finder and put in things like soil. There's all sorts of soil testing projects. There's gardening projects, things like that. I mean, if you're trying to get that earth thing and into the theme there.
Yeah. I
Uh,
also dropped this link in the chat if any of you love Google Docs and want to help me type
Mhm.
of ideas, you are welcome to. So I like,
So I get the sense that you can be pretty broad with interpretation of the project, because
I
when
can.
you showed the website, it talked about paleontology and archaeology, which is pretty hard to do for citizen science and pretty rare. But it sounds like you can really just run with the theme and go
Yeah,
lots of
you can
different
even talk.
directions.
If you want to build deeper connections to it, you can also just start by I'm even thinking like brainstorming the idea of what does it mean to do paleontology and archaeology? Like what else does that impact? So I'm even thinking about dust being kicked up. You can do an air quality project talking about how
Oh
how
yeah,
Earth impacts us and opening up the Earth.
cool.
Um, and
Emma,
yeah,
another resource I used last year or the year before that was really reasonable. The local 4-H can come out and you can pick and choose what you want them to do. Because we did one of those air quality things where she brought in different things like, okay, leaves from next to a highway or leaves from the arboretum, this and that, and then the kids filtered it through added water and put it through special filters to see the participant. But my point is just the 4-H is a reasonable thing too, and they have lots of, you know, they're going to be like, you know, local to your area and what can be offered and reasonable.
definitely. 4-H and um, Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Clubs is kind of a similar concept. If I could spell, that'd be great. Okay,
Well,
thank you.
so in relation to Boys and Girls Club, a couple years ago, a
Mhm.
group of us went in there and did a pollinator project. They loved us coming in because for summer camp, because they loved the fact we came in and we did it during 2 sessions. We used those wonderful coloring pages, and the kids wanted to tell their stories about all the different pollinators they see in their yard. And then we went out and actually did the
Great
oh
sunflower.
yeah, thank you, the Great Sunflower Project. And you know, the directors heard the kids saying, I love pollinators now after doing this project. So that is how I would approach a Boys and Girls Club and offer to, you know, help out with their summer camp and maybe do 1 or 2 sessions to get them involved in an actual project, you know, a training and then the actual project. That was my experience, and it was quite successful, I thought.
You did, sorry, could you say that again? You did a training related
So we
activity?
used, you know, those wonderful pollinator coloring pages.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of our training, my
Oh, that's a
training.
good idea.
Yeah, and so we talked about, as they colored, you know, we talked about what they were going to do, why pollinators are important. And you know, they could take it home and talk to their parents about it. So they were fairly prepared. You know, I talked about, you know, bees, we don't want to stick our face in the bees, but you know, we have to be careful. So yeah, it was a great it was a great way to introduce pollinators, and then actually the Great Sunflower Project.
That's awesome. I'm even thinking, or this is a little off topic from that, but I'm just thinking about in terms of speakers, if you wanted to connect to local experts, folks who are like part of the National Park Service, or if they're literally studying archaeology or history of the area you're in, it's a really great way to like do a place-based focus on what you do, which would make it so much stronger too. Um, any other, I mean, I'll keep writing on this. I'm excited that you were interested in brainstorming, or at least some of us were. So thank, yeah,
Another resource we used was your state universities have extension services,
totally.
and they'll come out and do stuff with the kids. And we did one on what do you call when your plants are native to that area and you don't want I don't know, they huh?
Indigenous?
Something like that. Like
You were taking out invasive plants?
no, they were good, they made like
Native seed pellets? Be a lot of different things.
they had like what's
Oh,
native to our area, and perennials or annuals, and the kids got to plant things and take it home and stuff like that. But again, they were like free, you know, to your extension service. And again, they have a wide variety of topics that you can ask them to speak about, you know. And they brought like all the supplies, you know. And
yeah.
kids had different gardens, you know.
Mel suggested endemic.
Endemic.
Endemic
Is that the word
plants.
you're looking for?
And that's what's not the word I'm thinking of, but I think just the name, what's native to your area
Mhm.
is, I think is what they did.
Definitely. And there's a lot of places where even if they don't have an extension, a lot of places have native seed libraries, especially in connection to local gardener clubs. Libraries often have um, seed library,
What
which is really great.
did you say? Seed libraries?
Yeah, seed
Yeah,
library.
we started one. Yeah,
Oh,
the girl
good.
from 4-H, we started it. It was great. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, those are really helpful. Really helpful. All right, so we're way in the future now thinking about what to do for next summer. So I'm gonna actually skip over to a new slide just so I can let you know when we're gonna be talking about this again. But we have recently confirmed with our folks at Summer Reading Collaborative. We'll talk to them again with a co-hosted webinar in February. I'm trying to get rid of that lower thing, but it doesn't want to. Come on. Go away. Okay, well, I guess we're just gonna have to live with it. So, or February 4th, 2026, my bad, not 2025, 2026. We'll talk to them at 11 a.m. PT / 2 p.m. ET. So you can kind of save the day. It is unlikely to change because they plan things way out in advance. So it's probably fair to say. But what you're saying right now is going to inform what we talk about during that event. So if any of you are interested in co-hosting, maybe we'll bring you on to talk through the project that you're most interested in doing too. So heads up. Oh, we got a message. Our Native Plant Society presented at our Citizen Science event in May. Oh, awesome. Sweet. Susie, the next thing I was going to do was just talk through like other examples. I had just the one that was from Branson, but I'd love to hear about other programs, even if it wasn't unconnected to, or even if it was unconnected to summer reading. This is a time to share what we've all done, and I'm going to put Mel on the spot too later. afterwards. Let me stop my share.
Yeah, I'm kind of really bummed I didn't do anything for Color Your World because it's so
Oh,
broad. But unearthing a story is great for Montana because we actually have dinosaurs. I don't know if we can get much citizen science activity out of it, but I'm definitely telling our Museum of the Rockies, I'm sure they'll want to do some programming around that. So I was just going to share something I did in the springtime in Citizen Science Month. So I'm at a university, I'm affiliated with the Montana Science Teachers Association, and we're partners with the Washington Science Teachers Association. So they do a series called Bite Size Science, and it's just 1 hour presentations for science teachers. So I did a presentation about citizen science, which was really cool. I ended up connecting with a teacher from Helena, Montana, who's super fired up. She wants to bring it to all the schools throughout her district in Helena, which is pretty amazing. I think she was kind of off to a slow start because everybody was getting their classrooms ready for the fall. But I will definitely reach back out to her and see if I can support her because that would be pretty awesome.
definitely. That's awesome. That's a great connection to make.
Mhm.
A very powerful one if she's bringing it to all kinds of various schools.
Like it.
Why not to? Quick question in the chat. If there is a citizen science dinosaur project, I want, oh, well, yes. I was thinking birds are technically dinosaurs too. So maybe I say technically, like I know that's true. I mean, ancestor, they're descendants of,
Derivative, yeah.
yeah.
I know
So we
that's a
can
great
make
point. Our educational person at Museum of the Rockies is super into birds and dinosaurs, so she will be all over that.
love it. You could have a whole conversation about how that's changed over years. If anyone remembers the original Jurassic Park, as we all should, the Velociraptor claw at the very start where he's explaining that and like and then looking at birds, comparing the two. I want to relive that. Yes, Joel.
So on birds, I was just reading there was this organization called Birdcast. Anybody heard of it?
Yes. For
And
kitty
so
dogs.
the idea, I'm sure you already know this, then the idea is that you can go onto their website, type in your county or your city or whatever, and the website tells you the number and types of species of birds that are migrating through your area at that time.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
That'll get really active like soon too, or now because migration's happening.
yeah, so it seems like that would be a good step to having these are the birds that are coming through. Which ones did you see? Kind of
Birdcast.
project.
I'm adding it to our list of speakers and resources. Awesome. I just noticed the time. I'm sorry, it's way sooner to the end than I thought we were. So I'm going to pause there for a second. Um, so short raise of hands, how many of you have done a program since becoming an ambassador? It's totally fine if it's a no, but I just want to check how we feel. Okay, cool. So for those of you who have not, I just want to know, like these take a lot of time, so we're here to support, and we want to make sure that we're supported. So the way we do these workshops will need to grow into whatever topics you want to talk about. And I had a conversation with Mel this last weekend, whenever it was, that was Monday, about the difficulty of making the partnership. So I just wanted to throw a mic to her really fast to kind of sum up her experience. Mel, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm happy to share my awkward, stumbling, bumbling experience with the hopes that maybe it'll make some other folks go like, "Oh yeah, yeah, okay." So I have been trying to make connections with my local with actually a couple libraries in the area, and the first thing I did was I sent some emails and didn't get any responses. And then there was an online form and I filled that out and I didn't get any responses. And then I went in person to the library. And this is one of the and this is not putting any shade on the libraries at all. I just felt I was getting to the point where I was feeling like, oh gosh, I'm just nagging now. And I was going, I don't know if I need to stop because they just don't have the bandwidth and I'm just another person that's going to be added to that. So I was feeling that. That was the tension I was feeling. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna show up. Went to the library, and the gal at the front desk was like, if you want to do something, fill out the form online. And I was like, I did. And she was like, okay.
Oh
And
no.
very clearly called the next person up, and it was just like, and so then I just was like stewing on it, and I was like, okay, who, and I tried this with another library. I stopped at just the emails with the other library though. But then I thought about like 2 years ago during the pandemic, I had just an interaction with a librarian, and I was like, oh, I think I still have that person's email. I emailed them, and they were like, oh, this is great. Here, talk to this person. And now I'm starting conversations with that person. So it took me like trying to come in at a lot of different angles. And then on top of that, now that I'm meeting with one person, even for them, because they haven't done SciStarter stuff, it's just been like slow. Like, I was like, give me a room and like 45 minutes. And if, as long as there's like an HDMI cord, I'm good. Like, you don't have to do anything else. I'll do everything. And it's like, well, I don't know. Like it took me meeting in person with him, and he was excited about it, but he was just like, this seems like a lot, just was very nervous. And then, but once I was like, okay, y'all are doing a master gardener gathering, or like there's some master gardeners that are coming and people just can come in and get advice. I was like, can I just set up, like, can I have a table that's nearby and have like some gardening things and then just start conversations with people? And he's like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure you want to spend, do you have enough time to do that? And I was like, yes, give me a table, please give me something. And he was like, okay. So I'm going to do that finally this Saturday. So that is basically a 4 month long process, but I'm hoping now that it can be like a regular thing, like the tabling will be no big deal. And then I finally also got a room, and I think it'll get a lot easier now that they're seeing what it's about. But just to share that it was a very long process. So if you
Yeah.
feel like you're being blocked or just going, I can't get anywhere, you're not alone.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing. I also want to note you told me one other thing that I feel like is worth mentioning, that you are an official library volunteer as well at one of the
Oh
libraries.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm an official. So that was another path for me to try to get in. I was like, well, and I actually got through the whole volunteer. So I got interviewed, I got my card, I got like fingerprinted and all that stuff. Like I have all that now, and I still haven't gotten to table yet. So
Yeah.
it was that what process I thought was going to take much longer, and it ended up being faster. So
Wow. Yeah, so it goes to show like there's so many different avenues to get in, and it is true, librarians are really swamped. They've got lots going on. And so being able to step in from multiple directions matters, even if it is a long process. And I feel for you, you absolutely get the Ambassador Persistence Award that we're making up. We should do that. We should actually make awards. So we'll do that as well. I'll send you it.
Emma, I had another thought there. Usually with the library systems, usually from my experience, it's by the county. And they're going to have a central office, and maybe somebody be in charge of youth or whatever. And maybe if you start there, and they can kind of, they know what maybe certain libraries need or want, and you're just bypassing that roadblock, because I think you might get further going to the central office and presenting.
It could be. I think it very much depends on the culture of that district, because I can think of certain central offices where they're like
Okay,
there's a,
okay.
there's a there's a great funnel, but like depending on that culture, I mean, there's probably a lot of places that are they need to go through the central office too, so that has to be the starting point. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it's all kinds of avenues. All right, we are past time, so I don't want to keep you all here longer than the 45 minutes that I never adhere to. So thank you for hanging out with me longer. But I did want to throw a date in front of you because let me skip forward. So I'm gonna throw a couple of events in your faces that I'll add into the follow-up newsletter that goes out tomorrow. So for next things ambassador related, we will have another event next week that's not ambassador specific. It's an info session for a segmented series of events for Citizen Science Month 2026. So in April, not too far away at this point, we are doing an info session for a set of events that will be going on, and it's called Acts of Science Connected. It's going to be a big deal. We will be talking a lot to ambassadors once the ball gets rolling. If you want to get a head start on knowing what this is, please come next week so you can enjoy an info session of me talking to you more. And I'm fun to hang out with, so I hope. Don't respond. In October, we will not have a workshop for ambassadors specifically because on the same week we have a library network webinar. So I'd like to invite you all to go to that so that you can also get some familiarity with the library network if you're not already connected to it. And that'll be on October 15th. Yes, Aaron, all of that will be sent out tomorrow. Yes. And then November is the next time we'll do a workshop. So in November, the topic is winter is coming. So for all of you who are stuck indoors for bad weather during the winter time, we'll be learning how to do all kinds of fun indoor games, which I noted some of you have done Zooniverse projects and such. So if you just want to like game the entire time, that's what we'll basically be doing. Just get you familiar with them. And that'll be not October 15th. That's just an error. It's on,
Right, exactly.
right? Yeah.
That's
So
why
on
I'm
the
raising my
second week,
hand.
yeah, second Wednesday of the month is when it is. And one question in the chat, if any of you wanted to be involved in the community science garden blog, I'm still writing it. Thank you for reminding me, David. I will come back to it at the end of the week. I had too much travel going on and got delayed. All right, that's what I'll keep you for beyond the time. I don't think there's another slide. Yep, we're good. All right, let me stop my screen share. I'll go ahead and stop the recording.